Step into the arena of minds. On this channel, every move is a clash of strategy, every sacrifice a turning point, and every game a battle for glory. Watch two players push the limits of creativity and calculation, as we bring you the drama, suspense, and excitement of chess like never before. Magnus Carlsen pushes e4, driving the king-pawn forward, staking an early central claim and setting an aggressive, confident tone for the battle ahead. Wesley So answers with chicks, calmly constructing the Caro-Can defense, prioritizing structure and long-term solidity over immediate confrontation. Magnus Carlsen plays d4, reinforcing central dominance and daring Wesley So to resolve the growing tension immediately. Wesley So strikes back with d5, directly challenging the center and locking the position into a strategic duel from the opening. Magnus Carlsen captures x5, opening lines early and choosing clarity, testing Wesley So's preparation and central resilience. Wesley So recaptures with c-pawn cxd5, restoring material balance while forming a stable pawn chain aimed at long-term control. Magnus Carlsen plays c3, reinforcing d4 and preparing a solid classical center with flexible development options. Wesley So develops n6, pressuring d4 and smoothly bringing a queenside piece into the fight with natural harmony. Magnus Carlsen develops bd3, aiming toward the kingside and strengthening central influence with quiet attacking intentions. Wesley So answers nf6, challenging the e-file pawn and accelerating development with calm, purposeful coordination. Magnus Carlsen plays b4, activating the bishop aggressively and eyeing the sensitive 7 square for future tactical ideas. Wesley So responds bg4, pinning the knight on f3's future square and immediately provoking Magnus with active piece play. Magnus Carlsen places qb3, double-attacking b7 and d5, creating early tactical pressure and forcing precise defense. Wesley So calmly defends with q8, protecting b7 and maintaining structural discipline without conceding tempo. Magnus Carlsen develops ndtu, reinforcing central squares and keeping options flexible for redeployment or kingside support. Wesley So plays a6, solidifying the pawn center and opening the diagonal for his dark-squared bishop. Magnus Carlsen develops ngf3, completing kingside development and increasing coordinated pressure on central dark squares. Wesley So responds b7, preparing to castle and quietly neutralizing potential kingside attacking ideas. Magnus Carlsen castles 0-0, securing his king and connecting rooks, signaling readiness for full middle-game combat. Wesley So retreats ba5, preserving the bishop and maintaining the pin while sidestepping future tactical harassment. Magnus Carlsen plays Rayone, centralizing the rook behind the e-pawn, reinforcing pressure and quietly preparing for a long strategic middle-game fight. Wesley So retreats bg6, preserving the bishop, while maintaining kingside influence and avoiding future tempo-gaining attacks. Magnus Carlsen captures bxg, choosing structural damage over piece tension, deliberately provoking weaknesses on the kingside. Wesley So responds hxg6, accepting doubled pawns, but opening the H file, quietly converting a weakness into potential attacking fuel. Magnus Carlsen pushes H4, fixing the pawn structure aggressively and signaling intentions of a direct kingside assault. Wesley So calmly plays A6, preventing queenside intrusion and securing space without reacting emotionally to the attack. Magnus Carlsen advances A4, clamping down on queenside expansion and subtly restricting Wesley So's pawn play. Wesley So jumps Nf5, activating the knight aggressively, immediately eyeing Fowler and provoking tactical tension. Magnus Carlsen retreats B-2, preserving the bishop pair and maintaining long diagonal pressure despite growing kingside threats. Wesley So pulls back Nf6, regrouping the knight and keeping piece coordination flexible and resilient. Magnus Carlsen plays B4, reactivating the bishop and increasing pressure on central dark squares with renewed energy. Wesley So repeats with Nh5, persistently probing weaknesses and daring Magnus Carlsen to overreact. Magnus Carlsen answers Bg5, pinning the knight and raising kingside tension to a sharper, more dangerous level. Wesley So strikes Bxc5, eliminating the active bishop and simplifying at the exact moment pressure was peaking. Magnus Carlsen recaptures Ixec5, opening the H-file completely and committing fully to an aggressive kingside structure. Wesley So centralizes with QC7, connecting rooks and quietly aiming the queen toward future kingside operations. Magnus Carlsen grabs Qx-5, boldly winning a pawn and stepping into tactical danger without hesitation. Wesley So responds Nf4, a powerful knight jump, attacking G2 and H3, suddenly igniting the battlefield. Magnus Carlsen retreats Q4, defending critical squares and attempting to keep control as threats multiply rapidly. Wesley So castles Lon O, committing the king to safety and unleashing a brutal opposite-side attacking race. Magnus Carlsen plays G3, pushing the pawn to blunt the Fowler knight's threats and urgently reinforce dark square defenses around his king. Wesley So jumps Nxt2, the knight from F4 delivering check, ripping open lines and dragging Magnus Carlsen into immediate kingside danger. Magnus Carlsen responds Kjt2, stepping away from check, but exposing his king further as the battlefield heats up violently. Wesley So lifts R5, swinging the rook from height across, clearly signaling a full-scale kingside assault. Magnus Carlsen plays Qg4, counter-attacking, while seeking queen trades to release the crushing pressure. Wesley So doubles with R8, bringing the rook from date to height, stacking forces ruthlessly against the white king. Magnus Carlsen jumps N4, centralizing the knight to block lines and desperately stabilize the collapsing defense. Wesley So calmly reroutes N7, preparing N5 or Nf5, tightening long-term control with cold precision. Magnus Carlsen plays Roan, sliding the rook from F1 to contest the H-file and slow the incoming attack. Wesley So plants Nd5, establishing a dominant knight outpost that strangles central and kingside squares simultaneously. Magnus Carlsen leaps N5, searching for counterplay and tactical resources as pressure mounts relentlessly. Wesley So steps Kingside, calmly sidestepping checks and keeping the king perfectly safe behind the queenside wall. Magnus Carlsen plays QF3, coordinating pieces defensively and eyeing potential counterchecks or exchanges. Wesley So thrusts 5, a violent pawn break, ripping open lines and accelerating the attack at full speed. Magnus Carlsen captures GXF6, opening files near the Black King and hoping chaos will ease the assault. Wesley So recaptures GXF6, restoring material while opening the G file, converting structure into attacking momentum. Magnus Carlsen jumps XZ, the knight from E5 grabbing material and striking at Rook support lines. Wesley So defends with Wraith 6, sliding the rook from height to H6, calmly parrying threats without losing initiative. Magnus Carlsen captures NXF6, removing a key attacker and briefly reducing the pressure around his king. Wesley So replies NCF6, restoring material balance and maintaining central dominance with unwavering control. Magnus Carlsen plays QESF6, the queen from F4 captures the knight on F6, removing an attacker and momentarily relieving kingside pressure. Wesley So responds RF5, sliding the rook aggressively to 5, immediately activating counterplay and keeping initiative firmly in hand. Magnus Carlsen captures QESF5. The queen takes the rook on F5, grabbing material while stepping deeper into tactical danger. Wesley So replies X5. The E-pawn recaptures on F5, opening central files and unleashing latent piece activity. Magnus Carlsen plays Re8. The rook from A1 delivers check, forcing the Black King to react under direct pressure. Wesley So calmly moves K7, stepping out of check and keeping his king sheltered on the queenside. Magnus Carlsen jumps N7. The knight attacks Sate and D5, searching desperately for counterplay and tactical tricks. Wesley So defends with Q7, covering key squares and calmly neutralizing emerging threats. Magnus Carlsen plays N8. The knight gives check, trying to disrupt coordination and shake Wesley So's iron defense. Wesley So responds Gabite, absorbing the check with composure and maintaining total positional control. Magnus Carlsen plays Rion, bringing the rook from home to A1, centralizing forces for a last stand. Wesley So plays N4E. The knight from D5 lunges to Fauer with check, tightening the net around Magnus Carlsen's dangerously exposed king. Magnus Carlsen responds KF3, stepping forward under fire, choosing activity over passivity as escape squares rapidly disappear. Wesley So repositions N6. The knight from F-hour retreats with purpose, sealing key squares and preparing a decisive follow-up. Magnus Carlsen plays R-gate, swinging the rook aggressively to seek counterchecks and cling to any remaining tactical chances. Wesley So strikes NX4E. The knight from Essex captures on D4 with check, winning material and ripping apart White's last coordination. Magnus Carlsen moves K4. The king marches onward, fully exposed, embodying defiance as the position turns hopeless. Wesley So delivers N6. The knight jumps back to E6, repeating check and methodically squeezing all remaining resistance. Magnus Carlsen steps Kiev, pushing the king into the center, a final act of desperation against inevitable collapse. Wesley So calmly plays N8, retreating the knight to lock everything down, leaving Magnus Carlsen completely without counterplay. That's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to bring you even more exciting chess games. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Und ein Hoch.